Hey there, Christian here. It's May 11th, 2019. And I come to you today because I was thinking that I tend to be very positive, and I am very positive, try to look on the bright side person. But I was thinking, I'm sure there are some pretty sucky things about transitioning that maybe I should share. And I haven't really thought about this too much or thought ahead as to what they might be, but I was just thinking that I always put a rosy spin on things, and for sure there are sometimes things that just suck. So when I think about transitioning, and obviously the beginning of the transition is really tough. I guess there's just like a lot of tough times. Because in the beginning, you go through, um, for me, I was a later in life, person to transition. And so for me, it was, am I really transgender, or is there something else going on, or do I want to transition? Because socially, as a 30-something-year-old person, I was established, had my career. Is this right for me? So, I didn't feel particularly happy, like in my skin, as just being female. I was out there on the internet searching kind of like what's wrong with me. So there was just a whole lot of questions in the beginning, and then you start to see a therapist, and of course that brings up all your actual inside issues and just things to work through. And so that's a lot emotionally. I had found myself in a lot of negative cycles of relationships, and just patterns that I needed to learn how to stop and take care of myself, maybe stop taking care of others so much, and just learn how to be kind to me. So just like a lot of inside stuff to work through, and then just the stress about when to start hormones and how fast do I want my body to change, and then come the changes. And although they're desirable, it's a lot at first. I mean, you have to come out to everybody, and then you have to choose a name, and then you have to start testosterone, and it's really exciting, but it's scary too. I mean, am I gonna like the person that I turn into? I've heard about people being really angry or aggressive on testosterone. So am I gonna just change inside? And I didn't want to change inside. I just wanted to change my outside to match how I felt on the inside. So there's a lot of questions about what testosterone would do to my body. As an educated person and somebody in the healthcare field, I worried very much so about what testosterone is going to do to my body. What's it going to do to my heart? Just being male changes things in your body. Your blood is a little bit thicker, and the males in my family are very at risk for heart disease. So is that something I'm going to be more at risk for? I mean, it's a really scary thing. It's not easy, I don't think, to just be like, sure, I'm going to start this medicine and my whole life's just going to be better, because it's not. There comes a lot of risks and challenges, just with any medication. And I worried a lot about what my physical appearance, would change to. It's hard when you kind of already looked in the mirror and you're like, I don't really like the person I see in front of me, but I've been staring at that person for 33 years, so it's probably just fine. Versus, what am I going to look like? So, that was a change, and my body went through various stages of morphism on testosterone. I mean, I went through what I considered my very fat-faced phase. I mean, I just felt like my face was just so pudgy, and my cheeks were just crazy big, and my body too, it started to change The weight is shifting, and I did start to gain weight, which I was like, hey, that's cool, but at the same time, like, just your body is changing. And I mean, the cool thing was to watch, how some of my body changed, just not being able to fit into shirts and things like that. But just to like look back and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like my nose is gonna just like fly off my face. It's so huge because of the way that my body was changing, thinking, oh my God, I hope I don't end up like this, And so it's kind of a mind fuck to watch your body go through such changes. I mean, the first year was just wicked, and then the second year was kind of settling into things, and here I am on year 5, and I have found some positives about my body changing and things, but it's a long process, and it's like a crazy emotional roller coaster, and at least it was for me to go on. So the body changes, and that's great that we can have like our breasts removed, so that we can, have the chest that we want to. But then at the same time, there are scars that are left. And so you were already self-conscious before, and now you're self-conscious for a whole nother reason.